Let's get the thoughts of our TSN Hockey Insider. As always, a presentation of the Myers Automotive Group. We say hello and good morning to the well-rested Frankie Corrado. How you doing this morning, Frankie?
I'm good, buddy. You know, every once in a while you flip open Twitter, and it happens more and more often these days, I got to be honest. But you see a headline or you see a tweet, and you're like, man, I didn't see that one coming. And it happens a lot recently. Then I saw one this morning a couple minutes ago from the TSN 1200 Twitter department saying JR loves EDM. And I was like, I didn't see that one coming, man.
No.
So what are we cooking with over there?
Well, are you a big EDM guy? Like, you're familiar with that musical genre?
Very familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, very familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're familiar with the Steve Aoki?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Well, he's in town tomorrow night. We've got what's called the Igloo Festival going on, and he's in town. I knew his name, didn't know anything about him, so we started talking about it, and then we got lots of listeners, and there's cake throwing. He's got
That's right. That's the signature move. It's
yeah.
Like there's a big cake, and you throw it in someone's face, and they say, "I got cake by Steve Aoki."
So I'm, after we kind of talked it through and everything, I'm on the fence as to whether I'm going to go tomorrow night or not to get hit in the face with cake. So that's where the whole EDM thing came in.
I think this is what you do. I think you get some lime green and some like orange spandex and some lime green sunglasses, and you go to Steve Aoki.
Yeah.
And you turn back the clock and you boogie. You boogie for a couple hours.
Yeah. You see, it would be turning back the clock if I were to show up at that. That's the issue there. But listen, I didn't have you on the scale of big EDM guys, but this is the more you know, right? You learn things every day. So
listen, I was younger more recently.
Yes.
You want to call it that, right?
Yes, much more recently. Absolutely. All right, let's get to the matter at hand. Let's talk through the game yesterday and look ahead to the game today and the other games as well going on in men's hockey. We waited so long. We got it yesterday, and it just felt like, was for you, was there a box that you wanted to see from Canada that didn't get checked from that game yesterday? Anything of any substance that concerns you?
It's crazy to have to nitpick after a game like that because so many things went well, right? Like depth scoring. You had a representative from all four lines score a goal at 5-on-5. You got a power play goal. You were essentially untouchable at times in the offensive zone. The pace and the speed was incredible. Like, teams are going to have a hard time keeping up with that pace. Jordan Binnington was phenomenal. When Josh Morrissey went out, all six defensemen really did a good job, I thought, especially that deep pair of Harley and Doughty. They were really good at working together, getting pucks up the ice. But if you're going to ask me, like, the one thing that I was like, okay, I could see a little improvement, and I wouldn't mind seeing it, is the ability to just kill plays early, right? Like, just let's end a play at the blue line, or upon entry, let's kill it as soon as possible. I thought, like, for the most part in the first period, it felt like Czechia was getting these rush chances. It was like, felt like it was one and done, although Binnington had to make a pretty big save early on. Then in the second period, Czechia started to assert themselves in the offensive zone a little bit more. I was like, okay, how does that work against the Americans, where they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, and they're obviously more skilled? So that's the one nitpicky thing that I take away from that game, is that can they just kill plays in their own zone a little earlier? But other than that, if that's your starting point for this tournament, there's a lot to be optimistic about. That's a team that everyone's going to have a really tough time playing against.
That killing of plays that you would like to see, is that something that as the tournament goes on, as players who are somewhat unfamiliar with playing with each other, although most of them played at the Four Nations, but just as a cohesive unit, should that be something that would improve as they play together more? Or is that going to be maybe an ongoing concern or something you're going to watch for as the tournament goes on?
No, that'll be something, of course, we'll watch for it because it'll be more relevant as you get closer to games against the Swedes and the Americans. But it is something that will improve because you will have confidence in your ability to fully commit to a play, maybe outside the dots, maybe in the corner, full well knowing that we're all working in unison now, and I know where my support is, and he's going to be there for me, and we've worked on this, and we've had the repetition. So that for me is something that gets ironed out as the tournament goes on. Just the fact that, it's game one, and it felt like everyone who touched the puck in that game wanted to make a quality play right away, right? And I have no problem with that. That's exactly what Team Canada is. It's some of the best offensive players in the world all playing together. But that'll be like, for me, I would guess the video session is, how can we be even more efficient away from the puck so that when we can get it more and lead into our ability to be high octane offense.
When we chatted on Wednesday, you were of the opinion that Jordan Binnington was going to start the game yesterday, which he did. Is there any scenario other than Thompson starts today, and then Binnington is in starting with the France game, and he's in for the rest of the tournament until the tournament ends, whenever it does for Canada?
That's how I see it. I mean, you saw what you needed to see from Jordan Binnington in game one. There was plenty of shots. Was it the most high danger and high quality chances against? No, but that we knew that was going to be the case for whoever was in net for Team Canada. I just think you're also evaluating something different with Jordan Binnington, and this is something that we might not be privy to because we're not behind the scenes and we're not in the dressing room. But when John Cooper walks into the room and he looks at his goaltenders and he sees Jordan Binnington, does he exude that confidence? Does he exude that mental strength where it's like, this guy's sharp and he's locked in and he's gone to like his different persona that he has when he's, at the top of his game. And it's an intangible thing, and it sounds like it's pixie dust kind of stuff, but that's what they would be talking about. That's what they would be looking to evaluate. And maybe it makes no sense based on the statistical season that he's had, but that's the reality of it right now. And I thought Jordan Binnington passed every test that he could have in that first game. So that would lead me to believe that it's status quo in the net. Binnington's your guy. You saw what you needed to see out of game one. You'll give Logan Thompson game two because, he's a good goalie, and this is a longer tournament than the Four Nations, so it's not a bad idea to work in another goaltender. But I think we're kind of down the same path here that we thought we would be, where Binnington plays well in game one, and he's going to go back in game three, and barring anything unforeseen, crazy happening there, he's your guy the rest of the way.
The story came out after the game yesterday that Tampa played in St. Louis relatively recently in the last couple of weeks or so, and that Binnington went over and visited Cooper at the Tampa hotel, and they the two of them just kind of talked it through, and without saying it, it seemed like Cooper indicated at that point, you're my guy. You're going to be the guy. Doesn't matter what's happened this season, that when the puck drops at the Olympics, you're going to be the guy, which, for a guy like Jordan Binnington, who seemingly doesn't have an issue with confidence, like what's that going? What would he feel like as he left that room after having that conversation, just in terms of his personal confidence?
Relief, just relief that like, okay, I can calm down here. Like this season has clearly gone off the rails. I'm playing on a team that is significantly underachieving. Like that's taxing. It's taxing mentally on you. But that's one thing that he doesn't necessarily have to worry about, full well knowing that, okay, we've talked to the coach now. He believes in me. I believe and trust in him, and I'm going to bring my best to the table. Like that's what he would get out of that. And it's so crazy. Like when you're playing hockey, there's all these different mental battles that you fight out there. It's like you're playing against the opponent, and then there's internal competition at times. Like you always want your teammates to do well, but call it for what it is. Like there's internal competition for a lot of guys, and then there's like external things, like whatever pressure you might feel from who knows where. Like everyone talks about how they don't read things. It's baloney. Everyone reads things. Guys type in their name on Twitter all the time. I've been on the bus and I've been on the plane and I've seen it happen. So there are all these different fires that you're putting out in your head. For Binnington, that's one less fire that he had to put out. And so that gives him a little bit of a calm and sense of relief in that moment.
We played the comment of Sidney Crosby as you were coming on, and like that line, that may be three of the smartest, if not the three smartest players, three forwards, Crosby, Stone, and Marner in the entire NHL. Like, speaking of a comfort level, knowing that you can put those three guys in any scenario. We're ahead, we're behind, it's late in a tie game, whatever. I thought there was a scenario where Crosby might end up on the wing with McKinnon. After watching that line yesterday, I just don't. I feel like that's a solid line throughout. Like maybe you mix and match a bit, but that's a threesome that's going to be there right at the end.
I like it. And Sidney Crosby has never really been like known for being the shutdown guy. Of course, he plays against the top lines, but that's because he's going to grind you down and eventually he's going to break through offensively. But in this scenario, like we always talk about this with Team Canada, whether it's World Juniors or Best on Best, a long time ago, albeit, but whatever role you're given in these types of things, you're happy to take. And there's no pouting. And it's like, I'll do whatever you tell me to the best of my ability. And chances are the guys that are the best players, like Sidney Crosby is an unbelievable player, has been for his entire career. Well, he's never had to be a shutdown guy because he's too good at the other stuff that's way more important to have to be a shutdown guy. But could he do it? For sure he could do it. He's going to apply himself. He's going to do it. And he's also playing with two of, like you talked about, two really smart players in Stone and Marner, and also two guys that are, very defensively inclined as wingers, which is always a nice thing to have. So I think we'll also keep an eye on JR, like how much line juggling is there going to be? I was a little surprised. John Cooper didn't mix and match very much in game one. And maybe that's a realization on his part that, if he wants to get some chemistry going, he's going to have to let it play out a little bit here. And it's also the game. Like the game didn't call for it, so he didn't have to do it. But, he essentially gave all four of those lines plus a forward 60 minutes and said, this is it. Just go roll it over and go play and let's see what we come up with. And I thought there was a great flow between all those lines. So we'll see how it changes. I wouldn't be surprised at some point if we get like a loaded up something with McDavid, McKinnon, and Crosby. But as of right now, man, that presents a really difficult challenge to have to go McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby down the middle of the ice.
On SportsCenter last night, you said that for you, Connor McDavid was the player of the game. Beyond the 3 assists, what is it about his game that you particularly like yesterday?
Two other things, okay, other than the 3 assists. 6 shots on goal for a guy who is criticized at times for not being one to shoot the puck and always looking to defer. He basically he grabbed the bull by the horns and he said, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to shoot the puck. I'm going to have that killer instinct, maybe similar to how Jordan Binnington has a killer instinct in net. So that was one thing. And then the speed and the pace at which he played with and the tenacity that goes hand in hand with that. Like, you can't be a physical, player. You can't set a tone without playing with pace. No one has more pace than Connor McDavid. And what does he do first shift of the game? He runs someone over to the point where you're like, wait, was that Tom Wilson? Like Brad Marchand apparently on the bench was saying like, yeah, nice hit, Willie. He's like, no, that was Connor. What? Like, we've never seen Connor McDavid lay a hit like that. But that was the first shift. And that is a tone setting from him that like, we're not here to mess around. Like I'm in this thing big time. And of course, like, thanks, Captain Obvious. Like, of course you are. But that's just like, it's a small thing, but it's a big thing. And so I thought McDavid playmaking, like willing to shoot the puck and physical kind of tone setting all stood out to me. And that first line, we talked about it earlier in the week with Wilson and Celebrini. Listen, so many skilled players on Canada, right? At the forefront of it, you have to get McDavid the puck. You have to. He has to be a guy who has it all the time. I thought Celebrini did a great job of winning battles, getting the puck to McDavid clean. Like, Wilson can do a better job of like settling down some pucks and making some plays. He's a better puck handler than what we saw in game one. But as far as that line and a feeding into the best player, I was pretty happy with what I saw from them and getting him his looks.
Josh Morrissey is a second pairing on Team Canada with Colton Parayko. He goes out of the game. There was no update. If we'll stress the word if he can't come back and play at all in the tournament or even for a few games, how big of a loss do you think that is?
Listen, it's a loss nonetheless. He's a really good player. Is it absolutely detrimental to Team Canada? No, it's not. If it happened to Cale Makar, then we're probably talking about a different scenario. But Josh Morrissey's a really good player. He wasn't playing first power play unit. He wasn't playing second power play unit. He was going to be relied upon to kill penalties, be good at 5-on-5. And what that means is break out pucks clean, transition them clean, get them into the hands of the forwards, and make some plays at the offensive blue line. Don't allow the puck to die when it hits your stick, which Josh Morrissey is exceptional at playing on the offensive blue line. So those are kind of his three big tasks when he's with Team Canada. So if he's not able to play, Shea Theodore, Thomas Harley, Travis Sanheim, they all do those things. So they'll just have to do those things and now know that there's no in and out of the lineup for them, because if they don't have Josh Morrissey, they got who they got. But yes, he's a very good player. He's very talented. I guess the thing about Team Canada's blue line, outside of Makar being like that true one exceptional talent, it's a lot of guys that you can plug and play and will do the same things. So they should be okay. But of course, you would like to have Josh Morrissey in the lineup.
If we were doing the same radio show in Minneapolis, St. Paul this morning, and we were talking about Team USA's first game, are we talking in the same glowing terms as we have about Team Canada?
I would be. Yeah, like did you see it any different? I thought Team USA was as advertised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What specifically did you like about it?
Okay, so Team Canada, high octane offense, really fun in the offensive zone, a ton of speed, a ton of pace, as advertised. Team USA, big cycle game, hard to get the puck off of, wear you down, like eventually just wear you down in the O zone to the point where you're going to miss a coverage or you're going to take a penalty and eventually capitalize. And that game could have been more out of hand. They had the 2 goals called back. But that was exactly what you would have thought Team USA would look like based on how they were assembled. So I think that for both of these teams that we are keeping an eye on and we think could be on a crash collision course at some point in this tournament, they played to their identities in each of their first games.
Right.
And now it just becomes who's going to iron out whatever kinks they can identify as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But that was exactly what Team USA is supposed to look like, and they did a good job.
If you were to, and again, we're only through one game, but let's get ahead of ourselves because that's what we do. You looked at mostly strengths and a little bit of weakness from Canada and from the United States compared to what you thought going into the tournament, and then you saw in their first games yesterday as you look at those two teams potentially being on a collision course in a gold medal game. Did anything of what you saw yesterday go, okay, that kind of looks like something that could work for one team versus the other in terms of some impact, whether it's player-related, systems-related, whatever?
I think with Canada, it's all about the pace that they play at. And I know I've used that word a few times today, but that was the big thing. And it's one thing to be big and clog things up. That is that's the recipe against teams that are going to try and get in your way and really check you, is that can you make them chase you? And because if they're chasing you, now they're out of position. And when they're out of position, all of a sudden, it's not as clogged up as you would think it's supposed to be. So that's the thing where, I watch the way Canada's playing and the way they're kind of doing, the double drop on the power play breakout and McDavid's flying up the ice. And it's they're on pucks so quickly and they're winning battles sometimes before the other player even knows that it is a battle. That's the kind of stuff that, if I'm Team Canada, I'm like, that's what's going to help us beat the Americans, is that, yeah, they're big and they want to cycle and they're, they can get in our way and they're really skilled while doing so. But if we play in sixth gear, we'll have them chasing us. And that's not a game that they want to be playing either. So that's kind of how I see that scenario shaping up. But at the end of the day, these teams have a few games to go now before we really see how polished their product can be.
Finland's up on Sweden with about a minute to go, 3-1. So that's interesting. It looks like the Finns will be 1-1. Sweden will be 1-1. Just in what you've seen, just the level of hockey from what you anticipated. You're talking about across the board. What's been your overall feel on Olympic men's hockey, best on best being back?
How close it is. like much closer than I had initially thought. Like first game of the tournament, Slovakia has a very convincing win against Finland. Juraj Slafkovsky plays great. Like the Swedes were, for me, underwhelming against an Italian team that features 0 NHLers and actually like not even guys that have played really at the AHL level for the most part. So that like, and then you see it kind of roll into yesterday where, at times Czechia's keeping it close, but really not really. And then today, Finland comes back with a big performance against Sweden. You're like, okay, Finland had their bounce back. Sweden, I'm like, I don't know what's going on over there. You're playing Oliver Ekman-Larsson essentially 0 minutes in game one. You're playing Philip Forsberg as your 13th forward. And even now, like the Italians are down 3-2 to the Slovakians with 3:30 to go in the third. Like I just think the margins are closer than we thought, given the skill and league discrepancy that a lot of these guys, come from.
All right, good stuff. It's been a great kickoff. We'll see what the rest of the weekend and the next week brings. Enjoy the Olympic hockey this weekend, and we'll have a great weekend. We'll look forward to chatting with you next week.
All right, buddy. Hey, and if you're looking for some more EDM, David Guetta. He's really good.
I'm a huge Guetta guy. I know David Guetta. So. All right. I got my lime green glasses on as we speak right now. I'm ready to go, fella.
All right, buddy.
Have a good one.